Hey everybody, it's Mother Goose 27 and welcome back to my channel. So, I know it's been a while. I just quickly want to apologize. I got really sick and then I was doing research for this video. So I'm just gonna jump straight into it. I finally broke down and I watched The Office. Let me tell you what, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm gonna get into that. I ended up watching it like twice, and I'm on my third watch through. No, seriously, in the last 2 months that I just disappeared, I watched The Office twice. Oh my gosh. Okay. I really enjoyed it. I honestly really enjoyed it. So, officially, before I jump into it, this is my first episode of So I Finally. This is going to be a series where I watch and play and do things that aren't necessarily popular anymore. Or they're still popular, but they've been out for a really long time. Like, this episode is The Office. Obviously, The Office has been off air for about 6 years, so I'm a little behind. Let's get into it. My thoughts on The Office. So, how I got started watching The Office. I've had friends who've watched The Office. I've had roommates. I mean, they're my friends too, but I've had roommates who've watched The Office. I think the first episode I really watched was about 3 or 4 years ago. I was hanging out with House Dog. You might remember him from some of my old videos. We were just hanging out. We watched some Office. Wasn't really that interested. Then I've had multiple roommates who've been watching it, and I've honestly tried to watch it a couple times, but I just could never get through the first season. And, well, I'll get to that. Anyway, so my current roommate and I, we're pretty good friends. We've been friends for a while, so he started watching The Office. And little by little, I just kind of started watching some episodes with him. This is around season 5, I think, and I just really started to like the show. And I'd heard a lot of people say that, no, like, you just gotta get through the first season. Yeah, the first season's not that good. Once you get to the second season, it gets so good, and it's completely right. I sat down, I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the first season. No matter what, I'm gonna finish it, and I'm gonna start the second season. And yep, the first season, honestly, was pretty bad. It was uncomfortable. Michael was a jerk. And it wasn't that good. I've already rewatched this first season again. And still, I'm just like, oh, this really isn't good. But I made it through. I watched it, and I loved it. I loved the show so much. So good, so funny. Loved the characters, loved the jokes, loved how the story progressed, mostly. I'm going to just take a little bit to just talk about the show, and then I'm going to give my honest opinion on if it's as good as everyone says. Don't get me wrong, I really loved the show, but was it as good as they say? Is it better than Parks and Recs, which I love, which I've probably watched 3 or 4 times already, but I'll get to that. So, like I said, season 1, really bad, but from there, the show's really good. I really loved it. I really liked how Pam and Jim's story came together. I really liked... This is going to sound bad, and I felt bad for him, but I really liked how Jan and Michael's relationship went and how you got to see the negative effects of that, because Michael on camera is trying to prove to himself and everyone else that his life is perfect, but really it's not, and there's so much wrong, and you really get to see him fall apart, and her she really falls apart. Dwight and Angela, I really enjoyed how their story progressed, and it makes me think of Pam at the end when she's like, I spent all these years being less happy than I could be. It makes me think of Dwight and Angela and how they spent so many years apart. They were 2 characters that were always meant to be together. My roommate lied to me so much about the show. He lied to me about Jim cheating. He told me that Pam goes to visit him in Florida and walks in and sees Pim. I keep calling them Pim and Jam. Pam walks in on Jim kissing Kathy, and then when the whole Brian thing went down, he was like, it's not really an affair, but you know, some things do happen between Pam and Brian, and obviously, like, yeah, that was things I guess did happen, but not like he was making it sound. So there was the episode where Oscar was like, I don't know what season it was in. He was like, maybe I'm gonna go back to dating women. A couple episodes after that, my roommate was like, yeah, Angela and Oscar end up getting together at the end of the show. Which I didn't really believe, but it was right after the episode of him saying he was gonna start dating women again, so I was like, maybe. So many lies. And there were so many more lies that he told me. Oh, one thing he did tell me that after he'd lied to me a couple times was that Michael left the show, and I was like, no, that's not true. And it was true, and it made me so sad. I totally agree with a lot that's been said that the show really wasn't as good without Michael. I definitely agree. I don't think it was as bad as people think. I think a lot of these people were watching the show live. They didn't just get to binge watch the episodes like 2 or 3 times in a row like I did. I don't know. Maybe they did. The end of the 7th season and the 8th season, I really felt like they were trying to find their groove now that Michael's gone. Find how they want to tell the story. But I feel like by season 9, they really got it figured out. Like, this is The Office without Michael. And I really enjoyed it. I liked how they wrapped things up. Let me just get out there. I've watched so many YouTube videos, so many theories, so many opinions. I've read through so much of the Dunder Mifflin subreddit. Like, I got the information. What was my point to that? Oh, yeah, sorry, I got it. A lot of people, not everyone, but just some people that I heard, said they didn't like how the show ended because everyone's stories kind of wrapped up and everyone has this really positive ending at the end. And that wasn't The Office. It was just about people getting through their day. And yeah, I guess I can see that. That's a valid argument, but I really enjoyed it. I've heard some people say that The Office should have ended after Niagara. I could see that. I also saw one opinion where somebody said that the show should have ended at Dinner Party. I can kind of see that too, but here's the thing. People want a happy ending. Like, not every story's gonna have one. But I can guarantee you there would be more people complaining right now that The Office didn't have a happy ending, that it just kind of ended, than there would be if they didn't have the happy ending. I don't know. I liked it. I was really happy. I was rooting for Dwight and Angela from the beginning. But then again, I knew they were together from whenever I started watching. Anyway, it just warmed my heart to see them together, and Michael to come back. It was just so nice. I thought it was a fantastic ending. And obviously, they had to premiere the documentary at some point, so I really liked how that they tied that in. So, the big question, is it as good as people say? Honestly, I'm going to go with yes. It really is. It's a great show. If you haven't seen it, I definitely would recommend you watching it, and I'm so sorry if I spoiled anything. Then again, the show's been finished for 6 years, so you had your chance, I guess. Is it better than Parks and Recs? I don't know. Honest opinion, I think The Office is funnier, but I think Parks and Recs had a better developed cast and a better developed story. A lot of the characters in The Office were very one-dimensional. Yeah, some characters had fantastic story arcs, and every character changed by the end of the show. Mostly. But they were still just so one-dimensional. And I really feel like Parks and Recs, the characters were more fleshed out, there was more detail, you cared about the characters more. So, in terms of which one I liked better, I still think I'm gonna have to go with Parks and Recs. Oh, it's really tough. Honestly, I was a big, Parks and Recs is so much better. How could you even compare the two? But now that I've actually seen The Office, I'm like, that's a really hard question. They're both very similar, but they're also very different. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. I think I like Parks and Recs better, on the sole fact that I feel like each character just got a little more development. They weren't all so one-dimensional. You got to see different sides of people more. But there is just a certain quality to The Office that I don't think it will ever be recaptured. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. That was kind of just random thoughts on The Office. I really did enjoy it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure and like and subscribe to join the flock, and I will see you in the next one. Mother Goose out. P.S. Toby was the Scranton Strangler.